Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to mydeepguide, and in today's video we're doing the first look of the Dasung Paper-like 13K, this time in color. I'm really kind of interested to see how this performs for two main reasons. One obvious one, it's the color version of the 13K monitor, which the monochromatic one was absolutely excellent as far as the performance goes. The version of the monitor that I received for testing was the Mac version, which requires installation of the software support agent. So that part was absolutely dreadful. But once I managed to actually get it to all work, then the experience was absolutely excellent because the monitor itself was great. Now, thankfully, this is not a Mac version, so it won't work on a Macintosh, but for me that's fine because I'm not based on Mac, I'm based on a PC. And now I get to see also how the user experience is like when you don't have to bug around with that agent as well, and to see how this monitor performs in color mode with the Kaleido panel. I'm not going to go into in-depth testing or comparisons or anything like that in this video, as this is just the first looks. Unbox it and take a quick look how the image quality is like on the Dasung Paper-like 13K color. Right, so here we are, and yeah, not surprisingly, it's the exact same identical housing. There are only two differences compared to the monitor that I reviewed earlier. This one has a color Kaleido panel, and this one is not the Mac version and therefore doesn't require the use of the software agent to hook up to a device. Everything else exactly the same. So if you are interested in specifics, I do invite you to check out that video. But for those who are not familiar, we have USB-C and mini HDMI ports here for signal communication, and we do have a power here. And unfortunately, no, this device cannot be connected to a computer or a device using a single USB-C cable because the USB-C port is not using any kind of power transmission. Power is supplied separately via the power adapter. You also have a 3.5 millimeter audio jack here, as well as a speaker. Anti-slip rubber feet, and the little metal rod that you saw in the unboxing is basically just a fixed foot that is screwed into the back here, and then it provides a fixed angle of the monitor and it cannot be adjusted in any way, shape or form. Normally what I received in previous packages was also the magnetic VESA mounting kit, and that one would basically have magnets that go on the back here, and that allows the monitor to be also VESA mounted, but for some reason they were missing in this package. So that's something that I will need to clarify with Dasung, and I will let you know in the review when that video comes up. On the front we have the buttons for control. So we have the power control, we have the brightness control, we have the universal increase decrease, and it works by a combination. So if you want to increase the intensity of the front light, you press the front light button and then you press plus or minus to increase or decrease. We have several modes as well here, such as text, images, or video modes and things like that, and clear button, which is there for manual refresh of the entire screen. These provide okay control, but the agent, even though it's really troublesome and difficult to install, and yeah, all sorts of negativities are tied to that software agent, but it does genuinely unlock some functionalities that I find really useful, especially as far as the precision and granularity of the front light control goes, because the presets that are available for you here are okay, but you can definitely get better results when using that software agent, which, as mentioned, is problematic. All right, let's hook it up to my laptop and just do a quick check and see what do we get. All right, so far everything seems to be going okay. I hooked it up to the power source, hooked it up to my laptop via the USB-C. Everything was recognized normally. I'm duplicating the displays now on from my laptop, and I went ahead and simply turned on my high contrast theme with the cursor that is inverted. So when it's above dark content, it changes to white, and when it's in front of dark white content, then it changes to black. And I made sure that the night light setting is off. This is something that I've talked about again in the review of the Dasung 13K monochromatic monitor. So it's something that you absolutely need to be aware of if you want to use an e-ink display with your PC. Without making sure that these settings are set up in such a way, you will not have a good time using a display of this type, and you will not get the optimal results. You will not be getting what you are paying your money for. So it's worth it to familiarize yourself with this aspect. Another aspect that's different, which I was not aware of, is that this one is actually touch capable, right? So you can interact with the system via using the touch, which makes it very interesting. Let's now try and move around and see how this interaction works with my Windows 10 PC. So in Trello, I'm able to just move normally. I'm able to read content really well. And we are now in text mode. I believe that we were in text mode. So this is the image mode. Then we have active mode and the web mode. From what I remember, the web mode was the one that was most kind of applicable in this type of use, and I'm starting to see similar kind of results here as well. Considering that this is a difficult thing for an e-ink panel to kind of deal with, it's okay, but I am getting ghosting results. Now let's go and check some other stuff out. And in this case, considering that I can kind of have it with the touch panel, I just pressed F11 on my laptop to enter the full screen mode so that I can see how this actually works. And this is really easy to work with. Readability is excellent. Let's say that I want to go for text mode. Yeah, I'm again seeing the same type of image quality and results that I've seen on the 13K, which was monochromatic. So for now, I'm just gonna go through regular monochromatic content. And right now it's having, let's see how high the front light goes. It goes actually quite high. So you can change it to fully cold, fully warm, or a mix. And the mix is actually quite nice. It's not too cold, not too warm, and it doesn't have a greenish tint, which sometimes does happen on displays of this type. Okay, so this is already excellent thing to see, because if that front light was not good enough, then on a Kaleido panel it would be a no-go. But yeah, this compensates for that darkness very nicely, because if you turn it off, you can just see how dark that panel actually is. But yep, then we go to here, and you don't even have to have it that much. You can just have it raise the level just ever so slightly. So this is very comfortable to read. Using the mouse is also really good, because the cursor is perfectly visible and it does not leave any unwanted trails or anything like that. So I can very easily make a selection, and it just is super responsive and super visible. So yeah, a combination of both of these is just a really good combo. So I can see myself easily using either the mouse or the touch combination here, or basically like a combination of the two, depending on what it is that I want to kind of work on. So yeah, so far this has been a really cool experience. For web-based portion of work, I really don't see any issues with me actually using something like that for that. And going to, yeah, charts and tables, like differentiation between the colors is super easy and super nice. I don't have to exert any kind of effort in checking this out, and the convenience of the clear button is a really nice thing to see. And again, if I go into like a full screen mode, I really like Coda for certain types of actions, and this type of environment just remains really focused. So I can just go like where I want to be, and then yeah, even the little charts work perfectly fine. Let's go full screen, and I can just very comfortably use this with a touch input as well. And because of the responsiveness of the screen and a really high resolution, because this is 300 ppi in black and white and 150 ppi in color resolution, it's just a really effortless experience, which is what I had with the 13K monochromatic as well. So let's do a little bit of typing here. So I'm just gonna go onto my laptop and let's start typing and see how that translates onto the screen. The typing latency is more than acceptable. I absolutely would have zero issues in using this screen for typing and reading type of tasks. All right, so that's pretty cool. Web browsing, definitely usable, and I would be able to use it without a problem. Office related tasks such as typing, reading, marking up documents, working with charts and working with tables, yep, definitely would be able to do that as well. All right, let's see regular website browsing, same examples that I used before. So let's switch to web mode. I think that would be the best way, and we can see that, oh, there we go. And once I zoom down to normal size, yeah, this is all pretty good. In each of the modes, you have image mode, active mode, web mode. So I'm just going to go to web mode, and with the plus and minus, you are adjusting the contrast setting. So by default settings are a little bit too high for my taste, and I tend to kind of lower them a little bit, and then yeah, everything is hunky-dory. In fact, the combination of the crispy 300 ppi that I do get to see here, and not that much interference of the Kaleido CFA layer on top, makes this a really nice reading experience. And the cool thing is that you can also switch this into portrait mode as a portrait display. This works really well, and you can zoom in to even low resolution images and clearly make out what's being said here. So I am again thoroughly impressed with the 13K series, because this is the first time that the concept of an e-ink or an electrophoretic display to be used with a PC or a Mac or other device as well, because you can hook it up to an iPad or something like that. Actually, not iPad, Android, because with Macintosh and iOS, yeah, you need to read the warnings that they have on their website, because the compatibility with Mac systems is kind of tricky. It's there for Mac OS, but for iOS, I'm not really certain that this device can safely work. But with the PC and with Android, yeah, this just works. Would I watch videos on this? I mean, I can just show you like a video, but in all honesty, this is not something that I would use this monitor for, but sure, let's check that out for completeness sake. And let's go to my channel and yeah, let's find the Dasung 13K so that I can, not Dasung. And hey ho, thank you YouTube for actually recognizing my videos. That's nice to see. All right, so let's see. And if we go to full screen, yeah, let's try and get into the active mode and lower the contrast. There we go. So that's how the video looks like. Let's move on forward to see. Yeah, that's not gonna really work, is it? So web mode again is better. Image mode gives you the best kind of image quality, but none of these modes are basically made for that. But if you really want to watch a video, then it's best that you use the active mode, as it clearly has the least amount of flickering that you can see. But yeah, managing of the colors and things like that, it's simply not what this technology and what these screens are made for. But if you're in a pinch and that's what you really want to kind of do, you can, up to a point. What this screen exceptionally well renders itself for, yeah, is for coding. And especially with the color screen being, yeah, now a part of it, then yeah, it's even better. And with the contrast controls, I can just really fine-tune the differentiation even within the black and the dark gray background. So things become quite easily visible. Now I'm running a high contrast theme on the OS, and the Visual Basic is using the high contrast theme as well. So let's see if I can change the theme to, yeah, something like light, for example. And if we can see the colors, yes, excellent. And now increase the contrast just a little bit. Now I can see the differences between the colors in text mode. It's not really popping that much. So the difference between the red and the black, not so much. It's definitely not popping. So let's see. Image mode, active mode, web mode. Well, again, web mode basically wins for most of the applications where I need colors, because in the web mode, that differentiation, while not great, becomes much better. I can clearly see the difference between the red, blue, and black here, and I don't have to kind of squint or guess what's what. So I can just kind of zoom in so that you can see a little bit better even. And yeah, I mean, this just simply works. And my regular zoom level that I would use is something like this. Yeah, 110%, sometimes 120%. And I do not have any issues with this. Like very comfortable to actually use on this device. And again, combined with the touch responsiveness and the touch aspect, I think that it becomes something pretty cool, because you can pair it with a portable keyboard. And if I put this into a vertical mode, like portrait mode on a stand, and a keyboard, my computer can be somewhere else and I can just remain completely focused on working here. That's also really cool. One last thing that I want to check for the first look is, since I already have the software agent installed, does it recognize this device out of the box? Took me a while to actually find where it is, but I think it launches itself in the background automatically. No, I need to launch it here. All right. So there we go. Let's see, can we change modes? Yeah, it seems to be fully recognized and working. Yep, active mode, text mode, web mode, contrast levels. Yep, and the front light is mixed, and then I can adjust the temperature. They still have this bug of not clearing out when the mode is changed. So let's put it smack down in 50% and see with the brightness levels. Yeah, this everything seems to be working as expected. The same rules apply if you do want that client to be installed. Then again, you can watch the video that I've already made on 13K, because yeah, it's exactly the same type of procedure, and it's exactly applicable to the 13K color as well. So that's a pretty straightforward way of checking things out, because it just simply works. You know what? My cursor is just above here. I just gotta. I know it makes no sense. Which program do you want to run? Well, one. Which mode are we in? Let's go into active mode. Any old school people who remember this? The excitement of this intro when you first kind of got it all there. Oh, it was so cool. Okay, let's increase contrast. I think I'm losing the plot now with the with this review, but let's try and have web mode. You know what? You could actually play Fallout on this quite easily. All right, I think we've come quite a ways here where you can actually play a game on a 13K, on an e-ink monitor. Yes, I'm playing an ancient game here, but still, it's a game. And the audio that you hear is actually from this little dude, and it's just coming from one speaker here. It's very, you know, thin. It has just mids and highs, and it's very screechy. I would not recommend this, and it's not really a pleasant listening experience, but if you're in a pinch, you do have it. So at least there's that. Okay then, so 13K from Dasung as a series of monitors seems to continue delivering the same type of quality and performance that we've seen in the monochromatic version, except that this time you get it in color version, which is really, really great. I just want you guys to kind of remember two things that are really important if you are considering a device of this type, and that is the inherent properties of a Kaleido panel. When you put a 13K color against a 13K monochromatic version, they are not going to be the same in two vital aspects. Number one being, as you can clearly see, Kaleido panel is going to be darker, so you will rely on use of that front light far more than you would on the monochromatic version. And also, again, due to the nature of how Kaleido panels work and having that CFA color filter array on top, that means that the content itself and the image quality, when directly compared between the monochromatic version and the color version is going to be slightly fuzzier because of that CFA layer than the monochromatic version is. However, you do get the color content if that is something that you rely on. And the important aspect here is that it's no longer just a gimmick. For the very first time, color content that you can actually use in reality in conjunction with a PC, for example, and then I can seamlessly transition and basically just use it as an extended display or maybe even my primary display for these types of uses. First impressions of the 13K are really positive, as they were with the monochromatic version. What remains for me now is to kind of test this out a little bit more with some other devices and see how it behaves, test it out in some other situations and see if there's some shortcomings that are kind of popping up or not. And then I'm gonna bring you the review, which is actually going to double as a review and a comparison between the monochromatic version and this color version here, while I still have them both, so I can put them back to back, and then you guys can have like a resource and a reference point to see which one is the best fit for you and your own needs. Let me know in the comments down below, are there any questions or any kind of specific things that cannot be inferred directly from what I've already shown in this video and from the 13K monochromatic video. If there's something that you would like me to test, or if you're aware of some shortcomings about this display or the other one that I would need to check out. But please do keep in mind that I am not a Mac user, so I cannot test Mac OS specific type of things, unfortunately. But anything else, do let me know in the comments down below, and if I can, I shall do. I hope that you found the video informative and or useful. If you did, and if you're not already, please do subscribe. It helps the channel quite a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!